Check him. Right, so then the highest you can get here is 24, right? Because it's 6, 12, 2, 24, 24, 24, and then you get 12, like 6 and 6 here, 6 and 6 here. So these are just not, these are like, what?
Because there's two, so I didn't know there was 2 readers.
Why do you think that? 56. Yeah. Yeah. 56, yeah. So you have to get, right.
56 out of 96.
50 out of 56 out of 96.
Which is like a 60%. Less than that.
Okay, so I know this is hard to read, but basically, I'll type this up and send things to you, but or Tricia will send it, but I'll take it. So critical response shows a good understanding of the text. How does it show a good understanding of the text? Like if you were to look at this and say, and talk to a student and say, you need to show a good understanding of a text, what does that mean?
Summarize it.
Okay, so there's a strong summary, right? Is that what you're going to say?
I was going to say there's like discussion of the main ideas. Like I think it's somewhat critical for C.
Okay. Great, so strong summary, discussion of the main idea, effectively integrates elements of personal experience as a mother to the ideas in the text. Okay, good. And how is that integrated? Like how do you know that it's integrated well?
She includes evidence from the text and then supports it with her own personal experience.
Okay, so so we have evidence from the text that's here. And how do you know, like, what's the difference between, what separates her experience from the writer's experience? Specifically used. What?
I was not trying to think what we asked about.
Well, there's like transitions, right? I mean, there's I think that's like really important too, that there's transitions, and that gets into. Here, what?
Narrative. Developed, right? It's like not just saying, well, it's important for me to praise my son. She tells the story of doing the puzzle with the son and then giving him the praise, and then how that reinforced itself in terms of recognizing the effort and why that's important.
So the detailed anecdote, right, is kind of like written as like a story. Like there's real details in there that you can really see what's happening. Okay.
I think you get the sense that there's full understanding of the passage, and this writer is piggybacking to the passage and developing that paragraph, which is the ultimate. That's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say full understanding of the passage. I would say full understanding of the idea she chose to write the passage.
Okay.
There's many different.
Because she would be
that just doesn't demonstrate full
understood
understanding of the passage. There's many different ideas in the passage. No, she showed full understanding of the idea she chose.
That's a very good distinction.
And that makes a difference.
And I said significant idea, right? So and that can kind of be in both places. Good understanding of the significant idea, and I kind of put it in both places. Right, that's a very good distinction.
Yes, I was looking at the third paragraph. Sorry, I think the third or fourth paragraph, is it? The fourth paragraph. When I begin with Dr. Ginsburg notes that parents also need to teach their children that they don't have to be good at everything. That is also, a different idea that you could write about. That's totally different from this one. So.
Right, and I think that's where students kind of give the summary, but also pick a significant idea that you can relate to. And I think a lot of the annotation that you work on with students throughout the year, we didn't even talk really about annotation today, but can get into it on Thursday when we look at it, is really about how are they responding to text as they're reading it? What are their thoughts? So even as they're annotating, did you annotate this when you were reading? Some of you might have, some of you, right? You make connections. So you're saying, oh yeah, this reminds me of. There's the things that you text to text, like text to self, right? So you're teaching those things even though you might have taught them years ago, or, you know, they learned it maybe in elementary school, well, maybe they haven't revisited that in a long time. And so those things will help them with their anecdotes. This is significant, and I also relate to it because of this that I learned or that I know. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just thinking about how I teach this, and then I'm thinking about, it's actually a very simple way you can teach kids how to do this. So you're supposed to analyze the explicit idea, yes. So you need to, I would model to the students how a simple sentence can contain an idea. So for example, that sentence that I pointed out, Dr. Ginsburg notes that parents also need to teach their children that they don't have to be good at everything. I give the students that sentence, and how can you write about that sentence? Because if you get caught up in trying to understand the whole passage, you're not going to accomplish the task because they don't ask you to. So simply teaching kids how to think about individual ideas. So it's like taking a text and you need to break it down and isolate it and teach them, okay, which sentence in here do you really understand what it means? How can you write about that? Go for it. Ignore everything else.
That's
because
really,
you don't need to know everything else.
I mean, I think that's a really great way of teaching how to develop the idea and say, like, you know, here's one idea. Like, here is a sentence, right? And here's all the things that I can get out of it, like how I relate to it, and you can model your experiences from that. And how do you break a sentence down? Because sentences are made up of so many different parts. So how do you break that down? I think that's an excellent way to work with this.
But should that sentence, though, that significant idea sentence, be related to the passage itself, and then whatever you say, it has to,
It's related in and of itself.
no, it has to be based on whatever you're going to say in that significant idea paragraph has to come from the passage.
Right, well, yeah, I think that's what he's saying, right?
If you pick, listen, if you pick Dr. Ginsburg notes that parents also need to teach their children that they don't have to be good at everything, that is the idea. When you say related to the passage, whatever they write about is related to that sentence, because that's from the passage.
But
You don't have to
whatever
acknowledge
they
anything else.
write about on that sentence has to come from the passage.
No,
No.
anything they write about that sentence has to be an explanation of what that sentence means.
Yeah.
Everything else doesn't matter.
So, okay, sure, and then I'll, yeah, go ahead.
And also, piggybacking on what he said, you can start at something as simple as, like, but do not actively list all the things you're good at, there's all the things you're not good at. Do your parents still love you?
Yeah.
And then, because a lot of times, I could show my students this, and like I said, I teach behavior problems. They're like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So you have to break it down, even as simplistic as, because that's teaching them how to outline.
Yeah.
Because you could teach them how to write this, but they have to know how to outline it before, like, how did they generate their ideas? You could start with, okay, or you can even do it in class. What are things you're not good at, you think you're not good in class? Does your teachers still love you? Do your parents still love you? And then they can see, because now you're giving them, before they even start to read, you're giving them something in their head that they can think about. Because like I said, my students would see all these words and get so flustered that they wouldn't know, like, where to even begin.
I think that's, you know, one teacher a couple years ago who would teach the students just, you know, just look at the title and just do like a little brainstorm around the title. Like, what does this make you think of? You know, what is this, you know, what strikes you, what questions you have, so that they're just, that it's pre-reading, right? I mean, that's again, a huge skill that we're working with in the curriculum is pre-reading. How are you setting a purpose for reading? You know, so you're not teaching this test in isolation. It's all the skills that you're working with and that you're building with them is coming, or you know, that's what they're going to be able to demonstrate here. So I think that that's also really great. Just one quick thing: the significant idea comes from the passage, but the developing it is how do they understand that through their own.
Well, when you do the training, and I've done the training for people, that's the way the training. That's the training to do that. That's the way they fit in the training sessions.
But it's the development becomes like, I understand this point through this experience.
You have to have a different, when you do the training, they also teach you too, like, to have a different lens. Like, because when you score it, you have to be in a trained mindset that everyone doesn't have the same lens of how they're reading the passage. So yes, they have to make the connection, but the development is going to be based, their examples in the idea have to relate to the development, whether they're for the development or not. Because everyone's not, some people, I have students who don't have parents. I have students, so like, you have to be able to, when you look at it and teach them that it's gonna be through different lenses, as long as it goes back to, like he was saying, like the idea
It
of
has
whatever
to come
it is.
back to the idea in the
Yeah, I think,
passage.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we have to really wrap up very soon, but it does have to come back to the ideas in the passage. But the whole idea of developing an idea is, here's an idea and I'm taking it further through my understanding of my own experiences or things that I've learned in the way. And then it comes back to the passage. But I've taken the drink to the piece of it, so. But yeah, anyway, one last point, and then, again, you know, we can come back with questions on Thursday and we can talk more about it, but,
Very quickly, I take back what I said before, it's not an objective essay, because I didn't read the last line, that you have to write about personal experience. And Nick brought up a great point, is that in high school, we're teaching them in the higher grades not to talk about personal experience. And they're not, you know, text itself is 8th and 9th grade, and now for college, here, forget about what you learned about the past 3 years.
well, that's a very good point, and that's a reason why this is tricky. And when you talk to college faculty, right, they are all, like, you know, I used to do a program between high school and college faculty, and we talk about, the differences and similarities, and the college faculty are like, you know, we want them to use their experiences. We want them to use the I. We want them to not have, we don't want the 5-paragraph essay. And so that's all kind of, it's tough because you're sort of saying, okay, now it's different. But I always like to look at it as that you taught them this structure, and you need structure to really frame so that you can kind of then play with the structure. And now's the time that this is when they get to college, they're going to have to learn how to play with that structure. And so now you're practicing that. And there's a lot of room within that 5-paragraph essay, within that text itself, that is going to come back. It's not just text itself; it's also text to text. It's also things that they've learned. You know, they can take things that they can take them to grit, right? Things that they're reading in class, and how are they also relating it to. There's so much we could do about the that we could do the whole day, but we're gonna. I would do it too, but. I'm sorry.
In that schedule that you sent us, doesn't say it should come here.
Teresa sent out a separate, and that's that's taking us into this, so that's great. Let me just go back.
Did you not get my updated PPT?
No.
I sent it on, what's your,
Okay, so let's go.
Friday, August 21st.
But what I'll do is send out a reminder or forward Teresa's email to you, because embedded in it has the.
No, I was just gonna ask, so that's fine. If you say we have to come, then we will. I will too.
Okay. Thanks, it was great to have you there. And it's 9 to 3 as well, and just to give you a preview, it's not here, no.
Oh, it's not?
It's at City College.
Yeah, so if you look at my invitation, I sent everybody an Outlook invitation. There's an attachment with a PDF with a map of where you're gonna enter. And it's very important that you enter on 138th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, because the entrance is right there. You're not going to get lost. Otherwise, you have to enter on Convent Avenue. It's kind of a trek. And we actually hired a security guard just to man that entrance so that everybody can have a smooth entrance into the building. So please enter on 138th and Amsterdam.
Do you know what train,
The one.
The one train goes to 137th Street City College.
So I think Tricia wants to just end with a couple things, and then any lingering questions about that. Yeah, you can ask her.
But just to say, on Thursday, we'd have a time to meet with ELA math and counselors together in the morning, and then we have 2 hours content specific again. And so some of the things we'd like to raise there would be based on what you've raised today. So for example, the diagnostic or homework, or so some of those will be addressed. But between now and Thursday, please get in some more time into looking at the curriculum, and we'll do some more of that on Thursday. Just to say a few quick things. Make sure that you have filled out a W-9 form. that you RSVP'd for Thursday, that you signed the attendance. I checked and I think everyone already has already signed the attendance, making sure not forgetting
Are you
anything.
taking the W now today or on Thursday?
It'll be great if you have it today, and I'll take it from you. I do. Okay, it's right up, yeah, I got it. What I'll also, we just have two more things to do, really short things. One is very important, your feedback on today, for us to be able to,
I think I handed it.
yeah.
I thought I did, so I thank you.
When you're finished, I'll did you I got it, yeah. Okay. So more dedication. Sorry, Chris, yes, this is the evaluation. Thanks for your input. No, that's okay.
Are you gonna be here on Thursday?
And the school is going on community building retreat, so we're not going back to one because it's so business, because I think,
Hopefully I'll remember. I can't promise anything.
no worries. No, I think that should be it.
I'll take them out.
Just on the back of it.
Okay.
That's Thursday? Okay, okay. Whatever we do and the materials, we'll share. Yeah. My assumption is, that's right, you're saying, you don't.
Yeah.